My neighbor was a guy who would come in, take a lot of my food, and he was a guy who didn't work, really. Or if he did, nobody really knew what he did.
Number 10. OJ, a name that will never be infamous. Like the rest of the country at the time, the Seinfeld writers were obsessed with the OJ Simpson trial. Jackie Childs is actually a direct parody of Johnny Cochran.
I've been practicing law for 25 years. You listening to a caddy? This is a public humiliation. You can't let the defendant have control of the key piece of evidence. Plus, she's trying it on over a leotard. Of course, a bra's not going to fit on over a leotard. A bra's got to fit right up against a person's skin. Like a glove!
Even before the Simpson murder case, Seinfeld unintentionally foreshadowed the famed athlete's fall from grace.
The whole city is talking about this monster, Joel Rifkin, and I am dating a Joel Rifkin.
But you like your Joel Rifkin.
Yeah, I just wish he had a different name.
Ask him to change it.
Elaine dates a man named Joel Rifkin. Since he shares the same name as a notorious serial killer, Elaine suggests several alternatives while reading from a magazine, including OJ.
OJ! OJ Rifkin! Oh, you don't even use a name, it's just initials. Oh, please, please, please change your name to OJ. Please, it would be so great.
Elaine, what is going on?
If Joel did change his name to OJ, he probably would have changed it again almost 7 months later when Simpson was arrested. Ironically, not everyone knows who Joel Rifkin is nowadays. But OJ Simpson remains a household name for all the wrong reasons.
Joel Rifkin, report to the stadium office. Joel Rifkin, telephone.
Who would be calling me here?
He's not the murderer.
Number 9. Bizarro Jerry statue. Jerry has made it no secret that he's a huge Superman fan. We're kinda surprised he didn't notice the resemblance between Becky Gelke and Supergirl, seeing as how they share actress Helen Slater in common, but whatever.
You're, Superman's best friend, huh?
No. His cousin. I've come here to search for the Omega Hedron. It's a power source vital to Argo City.
Jerry's Superman statue is one of his apartment's most recognizable decorations. So, it only makes sense that Jerry's Bizarro counterpart would possess the opposite. Elaine develops a friendship with her kindly ex-boyfriend Kevin, who is deemed the Bizarro Jerry.
He's like your exact opposite.
So he's Bizarro Jerry.
Bizarro Jerry?
Yeah, like Bizarro Superman. Superman's exact opposite, who lives in the backwards Bizarro world.
Elaine comes to see what Jerry is talking about when she arrives at Kevin's Fortress of Solitude. It's a backwards version of Jerry's apartment, with a unicycle hanging on the wall instead of a bike, and most notably, a Bizarro Superman statue.
Hi, Jean. What's up?
What's next? David Puddy is the Man of Steel?
That's super hearing.
Yeah, but it's not surround sound. I mean surround sound. It's like you're there.
What are you talking about?
Number 8. Green 22. Unable to shut down an actual parking garage for this classic episode, the crew constructed a replica and dismantled the show's set in the process.
Let's take the sets down and we'll build one.
We had to dismantle the entire set.
And they made a parking garage in our stage, and they put mirrors along every wall.
Just to create the illusion of being in one of these structures.
Using mirrors and camera tricks, they made the garage look bigger than it was. Michael Richards went the extra mile, insisting on carrying a box with a real air conditioner inside.
Jerry, are you aware that adult diapers are a $600 million a year industry?
Maybe I should just go anytime I get the urge, like you, wherever I am. There's too much urinary freedom in this society. I'm proud to hold it in. It builds character.
Speaking of Kramer, he says early on that they parked in Green 22, but Jerry says it was the orange section.
Where's the car?
Well, I thought it was here.
You don't know where we parked? This is great.
Look, I thought it was Green 22.
I remember orange. I thought it was orange.
I didn't pay attention.
When they do finally find the car, it's in the green section around the 20s. So if the gang had just listened to Kramer, they could have avoided a series of misadventures. Of course, even if they did, the car still wouldn't have started. which wasn't originally in the script.
The car was a pile of junk, and it didn't start.
When that car didn't start, I knew instantly we had a blow.
Number 7, Jerry's apartment number. If you are a Seinfeld superfan, you'll know that Jerry lives in apartment 5A.
I'm on no sleep. No sleep. You don't know what it's like in there. All night long, things are creaking and cracking, and that red light is burning my brain.
You look a little stressed.
Oh, I'm stressed.
If you're a Next Level fan, you likely noticed that Jerry's apartment number has changed a couple of times.
You don't think it might have had anything to do with that?
You don't like this?
Looks like your belt is digesting a small animal.
During the show's infancy, Jerry lives in apartment 411. In the season 2 episode The Phone Message, the number changes to 3A. One episode later, the apartment number appears as 5A for the first time, remaining that way for the rest of the series.
They rehearse all the time?
All the time. I've been up there 6 times. They refuse to stop. I can't live like this. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm heading for a breakdown. Can't you do something?
I'm not going up. It stinks up there.
What could this all mean? Well, season 4, episode 11 is The Contest, arguably the show's best episode. Jerry hangs out with 3 friends, and 5 is the number of episodes in the first season. So this all amounts to absolutely nothing, which we guess is fitting for this show.
I'm out.
Number 6, Cosmo Kessler? It's surreal watching the Seinfeld pilot now. There's no Elaine, Jerry and George converse at Pete's Luncheonette rather than Monk's Cafe, and Kramer is named Kessler. Jerry's wacky neighbor is based on co-creator Larry David's former neighbor, Kenny Kramer.
Kramer was based on my real next-door neighbor, Kenny Kramer. My neighbor was a guy who would come in, take a lot of my food, and he was a guy who didn't work, really. Or if he did, nobody really knew what he did.
David initially resisted calling the character Kramer, but the name was just too perfect to pass up. Kenny Kramer thus made several demands, including that he play Kramer.
But you can do it on one condition.
Whatever you want.
I get to play Kramer.
You can't play Kramer.
I am Kramer.
But you can't act.
When that didn't pan out, he started Kramer's reality tour.
When I decided I was going to shamelessly cash in on my illustrious name, I came up with this concept that what I need to do is create a brand. Something that you wouldn't mistake me for Cosmo. I figured his hair as long goes up, I have long hair, it goes down.
Both of these real-life incidents inspired storylines in Season 4 and Season 8. The writers also explained the Kessler mix-up in a Season 9 flashback when Jerry meets Kramer. By the way, the apartment number was 5A when Jerry first moved in.
Hey, how you doing? Oh, hi. I'm Jerry Seinfeld. I'm moving in. I saw your name on the buzzer. You must be Kessler.
No, actually, it's Kramer.
Number 5, a fusilli collection. Kramer spends most of his time at Jerry's abode, but occasionally we glimpse through apartment 5B's reverse peephole.
Kramer, it's Silvio. Open up, I need to talk to you. I can see you through the reverse peephole.
Silvio! Even in his own apartment, Kramer likes to keep Jerry close, hanging his headshot near the entrance.
Hey, what's going on here? It stinks in here. What are you doing?
I got the Kavorka, Jerry.
The Kavorka, what is that?
The lure of the animal. No, I'm dangerous.
But what is this thing around your neck?
The priests, they're helping me. I just bathed in vinegar.
That's not the only eyebrow-raising item you might find when Kramer opens his door. Who keeps a kitchen pot on a shelf like that? But what do you expect from a guy who cooks in the shower? Whatever Kramer is cooking, fusilli is not on the menu. Kramer would rather use the pasta to make a little Jerry statue.
There you go, buddy.
What is it?
It's Fusilli Jerry. It's made from fusilli pasta.
While we're all familiar with Fusilli Jerry, ever notice that in the following seasons, Kramer has other pasta figurines displayed behind his couch? Here's hoping that Frank never sat on any of them. Number 4, the OG Frank Costanza. Most of us saw Seinfeld for the first time in reruns.
I don't think you did such a good job of these.
What?
You're supposed to see a face in there.
Do you see your face in there?
If you caught season 4's The Handicap spot when it first aired, though, you might have noticed that Frank Costanza looked and sounded nothing like Jerry Stiller in his debut episode.
8 years I had that car. Not a scratch on it. 8 years.
2 crack. 3 dot.
Beautiful Mercury. I special ordered that.
That's because he was originally played by John Randolph. When Stiller subsequently took on the role, Larry David insisted on reshooting Frank's scenes in this episode for syndication.
They would keep rerunning the handicap spot with John Randolph, and it would seem odd that George would have 2 different fathers. So I prevailed upon Castle Rock and NBC to let me reshoot those scenes with John Randolph and replace him with Jerry Stiller.
David wanted to do the same for Jerry's father, who was played by Phil Bruns in season 1 and recast with Barney Martin in season 2. By this point, however, the actors had gotten older, and there would have been a noticeable age difference. As for Randolph, you can still find his episode on DVD.
You're under arrest.
Under arrest? What for?
Reckless endangerment of public safety in violation of Traffic Code 342-A.
What's that?
Parking in a handicap spot.
Number 3. Larry David cameos. George Costanza was largely based on Larry David. While David didn't play George on the show, he did pop up on occasion.
Oh, yeah, it is. Should we say hello?
I've never seen him in Manhattan before. It's weird. He's so out of context.
That man he's with. Is he wearing a cape?
Throughout the series, you can spot David as Frank Costanza's caped lawyer, the cashier who gives back George's lipsticked $20 bill, a sci-fi movie actor, and a background character when Kramer gets arrested in season 4.
Jerry! George!
You're under arrest for first-degree murder.
David also made several voiceover cameos, including a beachgoer who inquires about a marine biologist, an inmate who heckles Jerry in the finale, and George Steinbrenner. He even voiced Newman off-screen in his debut episode, which was re-recorded with Wayne Knight for syndication.
Kramer! That's Newman.
I'm on the road!
Once I got the part, Larry, being a stickler for detail, said that when we go to syndication, I'm going to have you record this so that it'll be Alpha Omega.
Even after David left the show, they worked his name into the Boca Breeze newsletter, detailing his struggles on the golf course. Number 2. Hiding Julia Louis-Dreyfus's pregnancy. Elaine never had a baby throughout the show's 9 seasons, but Julia Louis-Dreyfus gave birth to 2 sons during this time.
Elaine, you gotta have a baby. Oh, hey, you know, I had a piece of whitefish over at Barney Greengrass the other day.
Elaine.
And I
Moved to Long Island and have a baby already?
In season 3's second half, the creators found a few ways to hide her pregnancy. The subway is a standout example, where Elaine wears a heavy coat and carries around a large present.
It's ironic. What's ironic? This. That we've come all this way, we made all this progress, but, you know, we lost the little things, the niceties. No, I mean, what does ironic mean?
Ironically, in another episode where a woman thinks she might be pregnant with George's baby, Louis-Dreyfus hid her own baby bump behind baggy clothes and a newspaper. When Louis-Dreyfus became pregnant again in season 8, Seinfeld suggested a storyline where, quote, Elaine just gets fat. This idea made Louis-Dreyfus, quote, burst into tears, however. Thus, Elaine broke out her heavy wardrobe again, even going on a shopping spree to spite the Putumayo proprietor.
Hola.
Shove it.
What is all this?
I got all of this junk at Cinco de Mayo because I was trying to show Punta Mayo how much business they'd lost.
Number 1. Jerry's video collection. Whenever we get a glimpse of Jerry's VHS collection, we always break out the pause button.
When I was 8, I had a deaf cousin who lived with us for about a year. Of course, you know, I haven't been able to do it in a while.
What is this about?
I met this deaf lineswoman at the tennis match.
With Arachnophobia, The Crying Game, and 2 copies of True Colors, Jerry has solid taste. But some of these movies raise questions. For starters, Jerry owns Child's Play 2, starring Grace Zabriskie, who plays Susan's mother, Mrs. Ross.
Get into my office. Is this your idea of a joke? Don't give me that.
Amazing, isn't it? In the midst of all the horror movies, Jerry has Pretty Woman, which features George Costanza himself, Jason Alexander.
When Edward was with me, he didn't blow off billion-dollar deals. Huh? I think that Edward's with you. That's what I think.
And that's not the only connection to Alexander and Jerry's collection. He also has a couple of tapes for the sitcom Dinosaurs, which Alexander occasionally lent his voice to.
I got your kid, you got mine. Guess we got our eggs scrambled, huh?
Egg scrambled, hey, that's great.
Hey, thanks for taking care of the kid.
We're not sure how that works, but honestly, we just want to know who Jerry thinks would win in a fight, Chucky or Baby Sinclair. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.